Hey everyone. Feeling a bit swamped with all the news you need to go through for your UPSC prep?
I bet. It's a lot to keep up with.
Well, we're here to help. Consider this our deep dive into the most important news from December 21st.
We'll break down what happened and, more importantly, why it matters for your exam.
Okay, let's start with something colorful and exciting.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
The Viraasat Sari Festival. It's back in Delhi.
Uh-huh.
Imagine vibrant colors, beautiful designs.
Oh, this is great for UPSC prep. Textile crafts, GI tags, government schemes for weavers.
Right, it's all there. The festival is at the Handloom Hut in Delhi from December 15th to the 28th. They'll have Pathani saris.
Khatpad pashmina.
It's like a living textile museum.
Exactly. It's a great example of the One District One product scheme in action, promoting local crafts and boosting those economies.
Speaking of handlooms, don't forget about National Handloom Day.
Ah, yes, August 7th.
Do you remember why that date was chosen?
It was to commemorate the launch of the Swadeshi movement back in 1905, a key moment in India's fight for independence.
And encouraging people to support Indian-made goods, especially handloom textiles.
Exactly. It shows the historical and economic significance of this industry.
Okay, let's shift gears to a more serious topic now.
All right.
The Bordoibam-Bilmukh bird sanctuary in Assam. It's facing a crisis.
Oh, this is important.
They've seen a huge decline in bird species. A 72% decline in just 27 years.
Wow, that's alarming.
In 1997, they counted 167 species. Now it's down to just 47.
That's a classic example of how human actions impact biodiversity. And UPSC loves these kinds of statistics.
Right. It really shows you understand the scale of the problem.
And remember, the sanctuary has some really threatened species. The spot-billed pelican, the lesser adjutant.
So what's causing this decline?
It's a combination of things. Unsustainable fishing, poaching,
Habitat loss, tourism disturbances.
all putting pressure on this delicate ecosystem.
This reminds me of the broader issue of wetlands.
So important.
They're not just pretty scenery. They're crucial for the environment.
They act like natural sponges, preventing floods, filtering pollutants, providing habitats.
It's crucial we conserve them.
Absolutely.
Okay, from wetlands, let's move to something a bit more grand.
Okay, let's hear it.
India's making waves, literally. The first India Maritime Heritage Conclave just happened.
Oh, this is exciting and definitely relevant for the exam.
Right. It shows India's historical maritime strength and its current ambitions.
Multiple levels of importance there.
The theme was towards understanding India's position in global maritime history. They had exhibitions on shipbuilding.
Navigation tools, trade routes.
It's a reminder of India's deep connection with the sea.
And it wasn't just India. Representatives from Greece, Italy, the UK, it had global participation.
So cool. Ancient shipbuilding techniques alongside discussions on sustainable shipping today.
Blending the old with the new. Speaking of, don't forget the National Maritime Heritage Complex at Lothal.
Lothal, the world's oldest dockyard.
UPSC could ask about that for sure.
It's a symbol of India's maritime legacy and its potential for the future.
A huge potential.
Okay, let's get a little microscopic now. We're diving into the world of nanoplastics.
Tiny plastics, huge problem.
And get this, they might be fueling antibiotic resistance.
This is cutting-edge science. Public health, a hot topic for UPSC.
So how do these tiny plastics do that?
Think about it. Nanoplastics from things like single-use bottles.
They get everywhere.
They can interact with bacteria in our gut, like Lactobacillus acidophilus, a good bacteria.
Yeah.
They can turn that good bacteria into a carrier of antibiotic-resistant genes.
It's like the plastic is helping the bad bugs spread their defenses.
Exactly. And it happens in a couple of ways. Direct transformation
Yeah.
and OMV-induced transfer, which is a bit more complex. But understanding these mechanisms could make your answers stand out in the exam.
It's going deep, but that's what we're all about.
Absolutely. Now let's take a moment to honor those who fought for India's freedom.
A very important topic.
The Swatantrata Sainik Samman pension scheme. It's more than just money. It's about recognizing their sacrifices.
Their struggles, their dedication.
And upholding the values of our Constitution.
To be eligible, you had to have been imprisoned for at least 6 months before independence.
Or been underground for a similar period, exiled, had property taken away.
And the scheme isn't just a pension. They get railway passes, medical facilities.
It's ensuring their well-being and honoring what they did for India.
So inspiring.
It really is.
Okay, from freedom fighters to a modern-day maestro. Renowned tabla player Paitan Swapan Chowdhury has won the National Tansen Samman.
A prestigious award. This is a great reminder about the richness of Indian classical music, something UPSC often asks about.
And who better to receive it than someone carrying forward the legacy of Tansen himself, one of the Navaratnas in Akbar's court.
Exactly. A good chance to brush up on Tansen, his ragas, even the rabab he played.
It's all connected.
It always is.
Okay, ready for a trip to space.
Always.
Europe's launching its own satellite internet constellation, IRIS².
Their answer to Starlink. It's about secure connectivity, but also digital sovereignty, not relying on others.
Makes sense. So how does it work?
It'll use both LEO and MEO satellites, providing global coverage.
Imagine high-speed internet even in remote areas.
Huge potential there.
Okay, time for some good news. The U.S. has eradicated the murder hornet,
Officially known as the Northern Giant Hornet, but yeah, that nickname is catchy.
a win for biodiversity.
Big time. Invasive species can cause havoc, and this one was a threat to honeybees.
Essential for pollination.
Exactly. They could wipe out a whole beehive in just 90 minutes.
That's terrifyingly efficient.
This eradication shows how important early detection and rapid response are.
A great example of successful conservation efforts.
Absolutely. Now, for a reality check.
Oh no, what is it?
A massive seizure of pangolin scales in Nigeria, over 2 tons.
That represents so many animals.
Around 1,100 pangolins. It's a reminder of the brutal illegal wildlife trade.
Pangolins are the most trafficked mammals in the world, and it's because some people believe their scales have medicinal properties.
Sadly, yeah. And remember, India has its own species of pangolin, the Indian pangolin, which is endangered.
We need to be vigilant.
For sure.
Okay, ending on a hopeful note.
I like it.
A new type of medicine is making waves. GLP-1 receptor agonists.
For obesity management. A big deal given the global obesity epidemic.
So how do they work?
They mimic a hormone that regulates appetite and blood sugar.
It's like rewiring our body's signals.
In a way, yes. This is a significant development in public health, and UPSC might be interested.
Definitely something to keep an eye on.
For sure. Welcome back to our deep dive, everyone.
We've covered so much already, but we're just getting started.
It's incredible how everything we've discussed today is connected, don't you think?
It really is. It's
Yeah.
like piecing together a massive puzzle with each news item as a piece.
And that's the beauty of preparing for the UPSC exam. It's about understanding the connections, the bigger picture.
Speaking of connections, remember those nanoplastics we talked about?
Oh yeah, the tiny plastics causing a big problem.
They could be making it harder to treat infections.
Absolutely. Antibiotic resistance is a serious issue, and if those nanoplastics are contributing,
It's kind of scary, like we're accidentally creating superbugs just by using plastic.
that's a good way to put it. And it brings up some tough questions. How do we weigh convenience against long-term health risks? What policies can we implement? These are the things UPSC examiners might ask you about.
They want us to think critically, go beyond just knowing the facts.
Exactly. Analyze those facts, consider different perspectives, and present a well-reasoned argument.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about the Swatantrata Sainik salmon pension scheme again.
It's a wonderful way to honor India's freedom fighters. It's not just about the money.
Right. It's about acknowledging their sacrifices and ensuring their well-being.
It embodies social justice, welfare, historical awareness,
It reminds us of how hard-won our freedom is.
and how important it is to uphold the values enshrined in our Constitution.
Speaking of the Constitution, that's something every UPSC aspirant needs to know inside and out.
More than just memorizing articles, it's about understanding its spirit, its principles.
How it shapes our lives and our country.
Now let's talk about something a bit more melodic. P. Swapan Chaudhary winning the National Tansen Samman.
It's a well-deserved recognition of his incredible talent.
And a reminder that art and culture are part of the UPSC syllabus, too.
They often ask questions about Indian classical music, so this is a good opportunity to review.
Everything's connected, right?
Exactly. One current event can lead you down multiple paths of learning.
Now let's venture back into space. We talked about the EU's IRIS program.
Their own version of Starlink, aiming for digital independence.
It's a major development, both technologically and geopolitically.
Imagine reliable, high-speed internet access everywhere.
It could be a game changer, but it also raises questions about international cooperation and competition, the balance of power in the digital age.
It's important to remember that UPSC isn't just about what's happening within India.
Global trends and international relations are crucial too.
Okay, some good news now. The U.S. eradicated those murder hornets.
A win for everyone who enjoys honey and Well, not being stung by giant hornets.
Seriously, it shows that coordinated efforts and rapid response can be really effective.
And it emphasizes the importance of biosecurity, preventing invasive species from entering in the first place.
They can really disrupt everything.
Ecosystems, agriculture, even human health. The murder hornet is a perfect example.
Protecting biodiversity is crucial, and not just for the sake of individual species.
It's about maintaining the balance of entire ecosystems.
Okay, time for another reality check. The massive seizure of pangolin scales in Nigeria.
It's a harsh reminder of the illegal wildlife trade, a global problem that's devastating for so many species.
It's just so sad. Those pangolins were killed for their scales, based on unfounded beliefs.
And remember, India has its own pangolin species that's endangered.
We need to be proactive, both within India and globally.
Strengthen laws, enforce them better, raise awareness. It's a multi-pronged approach.
And maybe, one day, you, as a future policymaker, will be the one leading these efforts.
Now, for a dose of optimism, those GLP-1 receptor agonists we mentioned earlier,
The new medicines for obesity.
they're really showing promise, especially given how widespread obesity is.
It's incredible how they work, mimicking a hormone to regulate appetite and blood sugar.
It's like fine-tuning the body's own systems.
A brilliant application of science to address a pressing health issue.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder that tackling obesity requires a holistic approach.
Not just medicine, but also considering social and economic factors.
Food availability, affordability, cultural norms, it all plays a role.
Welcome back, everyone, for the final part of our deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we?
From Saris to space, from microscopic plastics to global pandemics.
It's been quite the journey. But all of it is relevant for your UPSC prep.
It's all about connecting those dots, seeing how everything is intertwined.
And that's what we've tried to do today. Show you those connections, the big picture.
So let's take a moment to reflect on some of the key takeaways. What really stood out?
Well, for me, the theme of sustainable development was really prominent.
That's a good one. We saw it with the handloom industry, right?
Exactly. Keeping those traditions alive, supporting local economies, and doing it all in an environmentally responsible way.
But then we also saw the downsides of our modern lifestyle with the whole nanoplastics issue.
Right, that was a bit of a wake-up call. Those tiny plastics are literally everywhere and could be contributing to a global health crisis.
We also saw how technology is rapidly changing the world.
Oh, absolutely. The IRIS program, Europe trying to carve out its own space in the satellite internet game.
It's fascinating, but also a bit daunting. All this competition, the race for technological dominance.
It's a new kind of geopolitical battleground. And then, on a more positive note, we had the good news about the eradication of the murder hornet.
That was a relief, wasn't it?
Definitely. It shows that with coordinated action, we can actually combat invasive species.
But then we had the pangolin seizure, reminding us that the fight for conservation is far from over.
That was heartbreaking. So many animals lost to the illegal wildlife trade.
It's a reminder that we all need to be more aware and proactive in protecting endangered species.
Whether it's through supporting stricter laws, responsible consumption choices, or simply spreading awareness.
It all makes a difference.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
The UPSC exam is a challenge, no doubt, but it's also an incredible opportunity.
To learn, to grow, to broaden your horizons.
It's about understanding the world around us in all its complexity and interconnectedness.
And using that understanding to shape a better future.
So stay curious, stay informed, and keep pushing yourself. You got this.
We believe in you.
And we're here to support you every step of the way with more deep dives like this one.
So don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel.
We'll see you in the next one.